Hi everybody, it's Carol with O'Brien Custom Turning. Over the Christmas break, I finished this one up. This is Bamboo Dreams from Diamond Art Club by Abraham Hunter. Let me give you a little bit of a close-up look on it. I've been working on this one for several months. I shared with you this one is for Caitlin. Right now we just have it on a piece of plywood. It's just tacked up, sitting there so it's safely out of my way and won't get wrinkled until she decides what she wants to do with it. And then we'll frame it and put it up for Caitlin. But I didn't video while I finished it up the other night because I was in a hurry. I actually finished it on Christmas Day for her, but I wanted to let you guys see this one and then I'll show you what we're doing next. So that is all of Bamboo Dreams. This is the 5-panel that I have been working on off and on for almost 5 years now. It was the second one I bought. The first painting I bought I got from Paint with Diamonds, and it actually was a joy to work on. And had this one been the first, there truly may not have been any others and we wouldn't be in this position right now. But this is the one I'm working on. Again, this is the 5th panel, but it's a really pretty seascape with the water and the sky in the background. It's a size 3, so 2 of the panels are 40 by 60, and then the 2 inside ones are 40 by 80, and the middle one was 40 by 100. This one is one of the small ones, thank goodness. So it hopefully is going to go pretty quickly to get it finished. It's just been a really hard pattern to work all along. The diamonds have been sticking together. They are very staticky. Parts of the pattern have been blurry and difficult to read. Some of the diamonds I'm running out of. I ran into that with this panel already. I just had to go pull from my stash. For this white color, I had to go get my overflow diamonds to get some more of those because I ran out already. So I just truly need to get through this and get it done because I'm truly just tired of it and I want to get back to something that's a little more pleasurable to work on. So with that, let's see how quickly I can get through hopefully at least a little bit of this one. I finished this top half. I guess I have it cut off on camera. You can't really see it yet, but I've got one row across. This one is about 20 inches long since it is 60 centimeters. So I've got about 20 inches. So when I get down here to where the end of the washi tape, that actually is already almost halfway. So maybe I'll get there quicker than I think I will. We'll see. This pen that I'm using today is not my normal go-to. This one is the one I've showed you before is my normal go-to pen. It's one that Caitlin turned for me, and I like it because it's just a little bit thicker. This one you can see is a thinner one. But this thicker one was starting to hurt my hand already today. So I substituted out, and I'm using this one as a little bit thinner, and we'll see how that works. Or if I'm going to have to even pick a completely different shape. I like to have the shorter ones for working under my magnifier. That way I'm not doing this and hitting the glass each time. So right now my color I'm working on, this is number 964. And number 964, here is my pattern that we're working with. And this right here is the circle with the dot inside. So the circle with the dot inside, it's kind of a really pretty seafoam green color. We're working on the sky right now is what I'm working on. And it's apparently right at either sunrise or sunset as the sun's coming up or down. So there's a few of these left. I'd started this color before dinner. So it is right now in between the holidays. Today is Thursday. So we just had Christmas, and we're going into New Year's. Patrick came over on Saturday for Sean and I's 25th anniversary, and he stayed the night Christmas Eve and then stayed all day for Christmas Day and then went home on Monday. So we have not yet decided what we're doing with this week as far as working over the holiday weekend. We don't do anything special for New Year's Eve or New Year's Day as compared to every year, of course, with it being our wedding anniversary. We don't work on Christmas Eve, and then we don't work Christmas Day. And this year, since Patrick was over on Monday, we didn't work that day either. But we just have not decided yet what we're doing with this weekend, because our normal days off are Friday and Saturday. However, we are in the midst of a little bit of a warm spell, and since we have an unheated workshop in Indiana, anytime where we have some warm weather, it's a good opportunity to be out in that workshop, because it won't be too long until it will be too cold to be out there again for very long periods of time. Now, when Sean is out in the workshop in the colder weather, he does have a tiny little space heater that is just right on his working space where his lathe is at. And then he has a snowsuit that Patrick gave him for Christmas one year that he wears when he's out there. And then a head covering to try and keep his heat in. And then, of course, he comes in and out throughout the day more frequently to warm up. And we have a wood-burning stove in the house that really keeps things kind of toasty and warm inside. During the coldest winter times, we keep me inside as much as possible because I'm really sensitive to the cold. I don't do well with cold temperatures. So we moved my polishing lathe inside. I go outside, of course, to put blanks away and to sort blanks out, and then also to set up orders on the trays. And then I also will have to be outside to set up special projects. So that too, we're going to have to look at the weather coming up the next week, because it's getting time for me to set up the next session of special projects. So we'll try to find the warmest day possible for me to set those up. And I plan on taping when we do that so that you can tag along and watch while I set those all up if you wanted to. We have, I would say, between 10 and 20 projects to set up this next round. And it's always different. You know, there's some weeks that we have lots of writing pens, and other times it's lots of crochet hooks, and it's always just different. So you never know what you'll get to see us make when it's a special project session. So I am not sure yet when that's going to be. It'll be sometime coming up very soon, because it is time to get some of those projects done and out. Right now, this week, I am finishing up the polishing for October PayPal orders, and Sean has started turning for November. So that'll mean coming up in the next week or so, I will be doing another update video for you all and showing you some of the November pens and what those look like polished, or not polished, turned. Because I know some of you like to really see those in the different phases in the process and what they looked like, you know, in the blanks, and then turned and then polished. So now, here's a great example. I've been working on this color. You watched me dump some more in my tray, and probably at this point, 1/2 to 3/4 of these diamonds in my tray are stuck together. And I have 2 diamonds rather than just 1. So I'm picking out as many as I can of the single ones. And then I'm going to have to go to my diamond grinder to all of these are all just 2 stuck together. And it's just really frustrating when you're trying to work on a project and move through it to have this many diamonds all stuck together. And it should not be that way. Reputable companies are not that way. And if this was, for example, a Diamond Art Club project, I would just send an email to customer service and show them a picture of this, and they would send me new diamonds with no questions asked, because they guarantee all of their diamonds and such. So here's my diamond grinder. I am just going to dump these in. I'm going to grab a release paper and put it over top of my sticky, just in case. Because, you know, if you've been with me for a while, you know I like to make a mess while I do this. I give it a couple twists and spins. And you actually can hear the sound change when it's mostly done. And then I open it up and tap my trays. And see, I spilled a few. So that's why I pull my paper out. Get my one that's left in that side. And then this side, they kind of stuck to. So I'm just going to pull them off because, again, they were staticky to start with. And then using my grinder made them so that they're that much more staticky than they were. So it's not a problem with the grinder, it's a problem with the diamonds. So this painting came from AliExpress. The name of the company was 2 Oil DP. When I got it initially, I was missing a lot of colors, as in like 10 to 15 complete colors. So I sent her a message, and she was very quick to replace them, and she was friendly enough. But then when I started working on them and got into them, it's just not a company that in good conscience I would recommend. I certainly would not order from them again after the problems, because each of my 5 canvases was packaged as a separate canvas, which is normally how a 5-panel works. And all 5 of them have had the same kind of problem. And even my diamonds that are stuck together and had problems, that includes the replacement diamonds that she sent to me. So that tells me that it's just an ongoing problem with that company and not just something that was a problem right at that time. Okay, so now I am looking for my tweezers again that I just had in my hand. This is one of the things that I do as I'm painting. I lay things down and then I lose them. And then I lay them down and I find them and then I lose them. Okay, so I believe that is all of the little circles. If not, it's no big deal. We'll just pick them up on the next round through. But I'm going to dump those back here in my container. It's going to be a little bit more difficult again because they are staticky now because of using my grinder. Now I only needed 1 or 2 more after I did that, but that's okay. Now they're separated for when I need them next time. So they'll be ready to go, so that'll be a good thing. And that was $9.64. Okay, now I want to do this triangle. Now this pattern also has this pattern like this one here. See, it's the upper right hand triangle, and then we have here the lower right hand triangle. We have upper left hand triangles, lower left hand triangles. We have this, the bottom triangles. We have triangles that point down. We have all over the place, so we have to be really careful as I'm looking at my pattern. But this one I want the upper right hand triangle. So as I'm working on my patterns, I really and truly do talk to myself. And if I'm not talking to y'all, when I work on patterns, I'm literally upper right hand triangle, upper right hand triangle, 3766, upper right hand triangle. And I'm telling myself that as I'm putting these diamonds down, upper right hand triangle, so that I don't make a mistake. So I'm just going to open my container and dump some in there. I leave this out so that I know where they go and give a little bit of a shake. Now I do all single placing as I'm placing for a couple reasons. The main reason is because of my vision. I don't see well enough to successfully use a multi-placer. As you're watching me, you can see it's all I can do to even use this single placer. And a lot of my squares are not exactly right on, which is okay, because when you look at it at a distance, you can't tell that. When they're up on my wall, they look fabulous. But for a multi-placer, I would have even more difficulty than I'm having with a single. So it's just not in the cards for me to be able to multi-place. So I don't even stress myself out trying to do it, and I single place everything. So for some of my paintings, like the Last Supper that I did, that was 110 by 230 full square. That one had 440,000 diamonds. And I literally placed those, all 440,000 of them, one at a time. So it takes a little bit of time and patience, but one at a time gets the job done. I'm slowing down here for a minute because I have other triangles here, and I'm just telling myself upper right hand triangle. And the same thing when I did the Nativity by Donna Gelsinger. That one was a 110 by 121. And doing those one at a time on a blank canvas also was a little bit time consuming and tedious, because you had to double and triple check. Not only was it one at a time, but you had to count as you're going one at a time, just like you have to do for a cross stitch pattern. So that took a little bit of an extra time. I really enjoyed that one though. I have some more blank canvases lined up that I'll be working on. Lots of stuff in line ahead of them first, but I will definitely work that with you and show you when I work on a blank canvas next. Hopefully you'll enjoy seeing that. So we shared on our Facebook page. Let me get this put away and get my next color out. I'm going to tell you about our anniversary and Christmas experience with our children. 3-leaf clover is what I have next. And even see with my pattern, let me show you that. I take off of the normal legend on the side. Here's my legend on the side. And I copy that on a piece of paper. And I enlarge it. Because on the side, I can't begin to see that. So I enlarge it. And then I take this copy and then enlarge it. So this is my bigger one. And then I even use it underneath my magnifier to help me a little bit more so that I can see it even easier than that. Because those little symbols are just too tiny and small for me to see without a magnifier. So I am looking for the 3-leaf clover. And that is number 597. But all these little hints and tips and things that Sean has helped me with over the years that enable me, even with poor vision and such, to still be able to enjoy painting. So I'm so thankful that there's still a way, even with poor vision. So my children, for our anniversary, they fixed dinner for us. And Caitlin made us a Caesar salad. And they made ribeye steaks. And then she made homemade mashed potatoes. And she made homemade chocolate pudding. And what's kind of really special about everything that she made for us is she still followed all of my dietary restrictions. And she kept everything gluten-free and sugar-free. So that was very special that she did that for me. She had ordered several months ago, and she's very, very, very good at keeping secrets. She found a sterling silver pocket watch because she had found online that a 25th anniversary is traditionally the silver anniversary. So she found a sterling silver pocket watch for her dad. And then for me, she found a sterling silver rose. And it actually was a live rose that then was dipped in sterling silver. And then both pieces, she gave us a glass dome enclosure to put over them so that we can try to keep them dust free and keep them in good condition and such. So those both sit in our rooms now on our dressers. And then Patrick works in stained glass. I've shared that with you all before. He took a photo of Sean and I from our 17th anniversary. On our 17th anniversary, we, as a family, went to the theater in Greenville, South Carolina, and we went and saw Beauty and the Beast. And one of the things we did at the hotel, of course, is we took a picture of the two of us together in our nice dressed up clothes. And Patrick took that photo and then he replicated it in stained glass. So that stained glass piece now is hanging in my office. It's an owl hall, hanging in my office over my desk. And he matched the colors and everything of what we were wearing. And since it is the bright multicolors, it matches in my office beautifully. And then when the sun hits it, it's very, very pretty. So that was a lovely idea for him to do that. And somebody commented on my page that you don't see young men doing that very often. So it was a very special thing for him to think of that. And then for Christmas Day itself, the two of them, I don't know if they communicated ahead of time or accidentally ended up on the same page, but they were on the same type of thing as far as gifts for me. And Caitlin got me a mother's necklace with the birthstones of all 5 of my children. And then Patrick made me a stained glass heart, and he put the birthstone colors for Sean and I in the middle, and then the colors for my 5 children around the outside. So that one also sits in my office over my desk. So those are both very special to me because I don't have many things that show all 5 of my children. And since they're all over the country now, at least they're over the country though, and not all over the world now that Chris is back home from Germany finally. So I moved on to color 3760, and that is the lower right-hand triangle. It's a real pretty dark blue. Not too many of those in this section. So far, this section hasn't been too bad as far as I'm able to see the patterns. Oh, something else with this painting. I don't know if you can see it very well right now, but there also have been rivers all the way through all of the 5 panels. Each of the 5 panels had rivers and things in them that I had to cut with my X-Acto knife and then flatten them back down. And, you know, it's not good when your paintings have rivers in them. So I'm hoping once it's done and behind glass, the other 4 panels all look okay once they were done and behind glass. So I'm hoping this one will be the same and get it off of my plate. So I needed to tell you, I told you once before all about why we ended up eating gluten-free and how that happened, and it ended up that whether it was my computer that ate the video, or I don't even remember, but I lost that video. Probably was in the debacle I shared with you last time, that my computer, I hit yes, I wanted to delete it and lost everything. But I have had migraines for a very long time. Started even before Caitlin was born, but they got worse after she was born. And I've had them all along. She's almost 18 now, and I've had them ever since she was born. To the point of I take daily preventive medications for them and still get breakthrough migraines. So my nurse practitioner asked in 21, about what I would think about doing an elimination diet to see if we could find what the triggers were. And at the time, I really wasn't interested in trying it because I felt like we had already tried so many things and nothing was making it better. And it just was. It's just, headaches just were. I lived with headaches. But Caitlin talked to me in the car on the way home, and she always had been a baker. She loves to bake. And she said that she was 16 at the time and was preparing to be an adult and was going to be moving out, soon. And that while she loved to bake and was good at baking, she really had not done a lot of actual cooking. So she would be interested in learning how to cook and incorporating the elimination diet like my doctor wanted to do. So if I would be willing to try a Whole30 elimination diet, and of course do the purchasing of the foods for her as the parents and adults in the house, she would do all the meal planning, she would make the grocery lists, and she would do all of the cooking. So we decided that, well, heck, what a deal. All I have to do is provide the money and let the child buy food. So we started in July of 2021, and we followed the plan very strictly. We did a Whole30 strictly, and we actually did it for 60 days. And we cut everything that it said we were supposed to. And we didn't have the wild epiphanies that it said that, you'd go through a couple weeks of being really tired, but then you'd start feeling this new, wonderful energy. And we didn't do any of that. We definitely had phases where we were overly tired, but we still to this day have never had the phase of extra energy. But what did happen is that Sean and I both, without restricting what we were eating, and what I mean by that is we ate as much as we wanted. The only restriction was we had to eat what was on the plan. So we were gluten-free, dairy-free, and sugar-free. But other than that, we could have whatever we wanted. So if Caitlin was serving chicken and carrots, we could have as much chicken and as much carrots as we want. We could eat until we were full, and if we wanted more later, we could come back and have more. It had to be on the plan. So we were even allowed fruits because that was not added sugars. We just could not do added or artificial sugars. So what ended up happening, we were eating as much as we wanted. We were all very satisfied and not hungry. And Sean and I both ended up with this new meal plan that we both lost weight. And over the course of the year, it was very slow and gradual, but we both have lost at least 50 pounds without exercising and without restricting what we were eating. So that was kind of a nice benefit. But the secondary benefit is my headaches seemed to be better. After a while, we changed it some, and Caitlin has gone back to mostly eating whatever she wants. Sean does some gluten-free, but he also eats some glutens. He does some dairy-free and some sugar-free. So he's not necessarily restricting those things, but if I give him something that doesn't have the sugar in it, he'll eat it and not complain about it, if that makes sense. Compared to, I tried to go back to eating glutens occasionally, and I started having headaches again. So we have discovered that gluten seems to be a trigger for me. So when I went back to coming off of glutens again and worked with my doctor on another medication adjustment and such, it seems to be helping my headaches. So seems to be that was the big thing helping my headaches. So for right now, I am doing mostly completely gluten-free, and then the dairy and sugar I'm doing low. Not completely cutting it out, but I'm not doing it frequently. So I do with my cereal, I do oat milk rather than regular milk. And I do stevia rather than sugar. Sean uses honey rather than sugar. But occasionally, if I want to have yogurt, I'm going to have yogurt. That's got dairy in it. And occasionally, Caitlin will bring me a piece of chocolate after she makes sure that there's no gluten in it that I can have without the glutens. So that seems to be working really well for us. So it was quite significant that she managed to stick with all of those dietary restrictions even for our anniversary. She says that she misses now the baking and doing real baking because, again, she loves to bake. So she's missing doing the real baking. So we may have to try to find a way for her to continue to do that, whether it's make some things that she can take to Cap, because I'm sure her Cap friends would love to eat cookies if she made cookies for them. So I've done a couple of shapes here while we were chatting and didn't tell you what I was doing, but you've been able to see as I'm going. Okay, I'm going to do the upper left hand. Now I switched back to my other instructions. This one is the one that I enlarged, but some of my patterns, when I put it up and stored it, some of them got wet and they're a little bit distorted. So I had to go back to this one. I just can't see that other one as well. So I'm using this one for the time being. It seems to be working a little bit better tonight. Same as my pen. When I switched out that pen, that pen seems to be working fairly well for me so far. So, and I'm probably getting close to a being done time for the night. It's almost 8 o'clock. So that'll be time to be wrapping it up and maybe do some reading for the night. Have to upload tomorrow's videos so that you all have something to watch tomorrow. If I don't upload anything, you won't have anything to watch. And that would definitely not be a good thing. I hope that you would tell me that you'd miss it if I didn't have my videos uploaded. All right, let's jump down and do these stars, just because there's some sticking out there that looks like a nice, easy one to find them. 939s. 939 is this dark, dark navy blue. It's almost a black color. I have not yet decided what I'm going to do after this one. I think perhaps I'm going to do some owls, but I haven't decided if I'm going to do the little bitty ones or if I'm going to do a couple of the bigger partial shape ones. I guess we'll see as we get closer. And then I have a couple customs that I've been setting aside that I want to get to. Well, I think this is going to wrap us up for the night, though. If I don't talk to you between now and then, please have a safe New Year's if you go out. We wish you many, many blessings, and I will see you in the new year, if not before. Have a great night. Bye.